recalls her loveful moments, the days which she spent with Sarugopa. Though the reality is that she is married to someone else and has 2 children, but she does the same act, she repeats it for several days until her policeman brother comes to her house and shows her the stark reality which opened her eyes. So, the reality is that he brings the card and shows it to her that it is not due to her that he remained bachelor for 12 long years, as according to her imagination it was due to her in the reciprocation of her love. The Sarugopa didn't marry anyone else, but this was not the truth. He had planned his marriage with someone else, and hearing this, the castle, the imaginary castle of faith and loyalty which she had made in her brain, it shatters and she breaks into tears. And after a few days, she regains her strength after this incident and gets ready to do anything to serve her children, even the prostitution. The love which gave her strength to live with dignity and respect and live with sanctity, the resolute and standstill strength is no more, and which helped her to stand resolute to keep away with Hubbard's constant lusty eyes, is shattered and is over. And now she is free and open to her willingness to do anything for her survival. So, next, let's get into the narrative technique, which is omniscient, third-person narrator. He's not one of the characters in the story, but we see everything through his ugly figure who knows each and everything what is going into each and every character's brain. The intense description of this narration can be expressed by these lines. I quote, "The bulbuls of the hijol trees started chirping noisily. The sun rose above the Brahmaputra ridges. A violet and brown clouds clung to it, make it look like the pinched and pale face." The hijol tree is the symbol of strength of Taraju's character to stand still in any situation. The empty chest primarily symbolizes of death, but then for Tarado is love, matrimonial consumption, a symbol of fulfillment, belongingness, conjugal bliss, and at the end, life after death of love. Empty chest meaning symbolizes end of life. Here, it also symbolizes hope, desire, and the hope and desire comes to end, the love comes to end, as the chest is symbol of death. Everything comes to end in a chest. A man dies, his whole life, his whole journey, his whole duties comes to an end. And so here her hopes and desires, everything, her love comes to an end, to the coffin when she knows the reality. Next, the title. The title is very, very apt. It is also suggestive as well as ironic. Empty is not just physically emptiness into her life, because her husband, who is in jail, he is put in jail because of rash driving, and she has her 2 children to bring up. They are stunted, malnutritioned, they are starving, and this is the emptiness in her life of love, of happiness. So the title is very apt according to me. This at the end, I'd like to sum up the story. So this story is all about hope. One's life is very important. With hope, we can also say that hope is another word for life, as we can connect with us also, that if we don't have hope in life, each and every person has a certain kind of hope that may be materialistic, that may be regarding his aim or success or whatever he wants to achieve in life. That constant hope makes him do the task, the karma, whatever duties they perform to achieve something or the other in life. It is hope which makes the life to continue. Here, the hope of love which made her live a life of dignity with standstill, but now which has put to an end, of course. But still in defeat, she shows her unbearable spirit, which is really commendable. So here I'd like to put an end to my presentation. Thank you for hearing patiently, and I hope I did justice with the story and the time slot provided the ma'am. Thank you so much. That's it, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Himanshi, for giving the elaborate description of the story. And
thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Now, story which talks about love, as Himanshi was mentioning. It talks about death. It talks about life, and it's a bit philosophical, very much involved with the cultural integrities or cultural nuances of the region, or the Assamese culture is so much prevalent in the story that when you will read, you will feel that you are in Assam. You are there, feeling the ambience and the beauty and the purity of Kamakhya Mandir, and then you have the character of Torudoi, which is of course the epitome of love here. And despite being married to a person and being devoted to him, at the same time she has love for a person, Sadhu Popa, and she has a very strong belief that Sadhu Popa will remain bachelor because she could not marry him. So multiple characters, and it somehow mythological background also comes, the religious background also comes, the philosophical angle also comes in the story. So this is again a very interesting story, and when you will go through it, you will find it very interesting. There is another story by Motiram Jotwani, written in Sindhi, and that story is Bird, and I think we haven't covered it, have we? Have we talked about Bird?
No, ma'am.
In previous classes? Okay. So this Bird is a very interesting story. Bird, you all know, Bird, Bakshi. And there are four major characters in this story, and I'll go a little quickly because we need to talk about non-fiction portion also today. So the relevance of the title is that birds, they go into different directions without any destination. So they are not clear. Sometimes, they are clear about their destination, but in long term. In short term, they are moving around in the sky without having a specific path. So they enjoy this kind of liberty, that they don't have to follow a certain path, and they can just be in the south, east, west, wherever they want. Now, what is the relevance with the story? The central character of the story is Latika. Again, I'm taking this along with the empty chest, that it also talks about the same kind of love, which is there in the Assamese story, and here we are talking in Sindhi story. So one is about east, but one is about western part of the country. But you will find that the emotions are same. The human emotions are very much same, whether you are living in east or west, it doesn't matter at all. So here Latika is deeply in love with Mr. Girish Negi. and Girish Negi has a background of army, and they weren't deeply in love with each other, but when the war took place, he has to go to the borders, and in the story we come to know that Girish Negi is nowhere. He is dead in war. So now what has happened to Latika is that because she was so much deeply in love with Girish Negi, she doesn't want